and welcome to Saturday Night Lady. This is a week where there is no new SNL. I am Deej Barons.
I'm Shari Fesco.
And I'm Debbie Constantine.
And we are your Saturday Night Ladies. So what we're bringing to you today is in our series of favorite female musical guests of the decades. We're covering 2 decades, the 90s and the 2000s, with our 2 very special guests from Cover Wars, Ajax and Seth. Welcome, guys.
Hello and welcome, and thank you for having us.
It's nice to be here. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's always good to have other people on here. I will be a bit of a nightmare editing, but hey, it's going to give me more experience and I can learn. So what we're going to start off before we get into the actual bulk of the episode is, well, for each of you guys, just briefly, what is your SNL discovery history, and what would be your favorite cast member from each of the decades that we're covering? So Ajax, let's do alphabetical order, because that's very organized and very Virgo of me.
Well, my origin story, I mean, of course, I already knew of SNL, like my parents watched it, and I would sneak in and watch one every once in a while growing up. But really, it was the mid-90s. My first season I watched all the way through was the dreaded season 20. And so I started watching it into the Farrell era. And my favorite SNL female cast member of the 90s definitely has to be Sherry O'Terry. So just her energy and everything she brought to every sketch she was in, she gave it 100%, and everyone else, was just in awe of her. So powerhouse Sherry O'Terry. For the 2000s, it's Kristen Wiig. I mean, Kristen Wiig is just a generational cast member, somebody who just brought so many different characters and perspectives and changed the show. I mean, she just, after those seasons where they just kind of bumped along, when Kristen came in, she just turned it upside down. And everything she did on that show was everything that the general audience loved. But for SNL fans, true fans of sketch comedy, they had someone to cling to and go, yes, this is exactly what we wanted. Somebody who did this on the show. So definitely Kristen for the 2000s.
And that started off a long-term brother-sister relationship between her and my favorite Bill Hader.
Yep, for sure.
And Seth, what about you?
So I've been an SNL fan as long as I can remember. My parents were into it as well, and then I'm the youngest of 4 siblings, and they all watched it as well. So as long as I can remember, I've been a fan. My favorite female cast member, I would say from the 90s, is probably Molly Shannon, although Sherry O'Terry would probably be a close second. From the 2000s, I would say Kristen Wiig as well. That's putting me on the spot because I love them all. I mean, it's hard to choose.
For me, it's a little bit of a cheat from the 90s, even though she was there for the last season of it, Jan Hooks.
Love Jan.
Actually, maybe we'll save her for the 80s. Who else was in the cast in the 90s?
It's Melanie Hutzel's your next guess.
Shari's a Melanie Hutzel stan.
No, I do like Melanie. She's underrated. She could make some crazy faces.
She did great. I have no problem with Melanie Hutzel. Ellen Clay Gordon.
Ooh. Nice pick.
So good.
Nice.
Talk about underrated.
Yeah.
Very underrated.
Exactly. I do love an underdog. And she, I believe, was the second female cast member. There was a previous one that was very, very brief. And so for the 2000s, don't get me wrong, but again, if I had to go for the underdog, Casey Wilson.
Ooh, nice choice.
It wasn't there long, but she did some really good stuff. She went on to do the joy and wonder that is happy ending. So I guess you'll give and take. You gotta take the good, you take the bad, yada, yada, yada. You know the song. Debbie, what are your cast members for the 90s and the 2000s and the 80s?
Everyone's been a great pick. Anna Gasteyer, because she's having a bit of a resurgence now. I think people are like, oh my God, she had like so many roles in the 50th, and she could play a straight woman so well. So when she played unhinged Martha Stewart, like you were saying before, Shari, it was like such an unexpected turn of delight, because it was not anything you would think would be in anyone's wheelhouse, much less hers. 2000s, Jenny Slate elevated so many sketches and so many digital shorts. So I'm gonna say Jenny Slate.
I love Jenny Slate. Tina Charnoose. I'm an entrepreneur. Do you have a bad doorbell?
Ding dong.
Yeah, it was doorbells, car horn, and then finally alarm clocks.
It felt like she was there longer than a season. She did so well.
Oh, she was only there for a season?
Yeah, fortunately.
Oh my God.
She got fired now.
Wow.
And not because of her F word slip in the first season, or the first episode.
Okay, yes.
So I'm trying to remember who was in the 90s and who was in the 2000s because it all blurs together. I've been watching the show my whole life. I want to say Vanessa Bayer for one or the other, but I can't remember if she was the 90s or the 2000s. I do love Rachel Dratch, and I think she's very underappreciated.
Yes.
And for the same thing as Anna Gasteyer, I mean, they were just the workhorses. They kind of did all this work and didn't get a lot of credit. And I love Rachel. She's so funny. She's so funny, like those elf roles that she was playing in the Christmas episodes, and of course Debbie Downer. She's just so funny.
She's fearless. She just brought the silly and didn't care about how she looked doing it.
Well, very reminiscent of Imogen Coco. And I am very much salty about how she got screwed with 30 Rock.
Yeah, I agree.
And I highly recommend her Girl Walked Into a Bar biography that she wrote. It's
Oh my God.
amazing.
She had one.
She had a late in life child that she wasn't expecting to have, and it's just a really fascinating story. So she's a very interesting woman outside of SNL. And like she talks about how she's always typecast as like the lesbian friend. I mean, she's got a very realistic view of her career, and I just really respect that.
What would the Lovers be without Dratch?
She was so great with Will Ferrell. They were so good together. Maya Rudolph, she's a queen. I mean, I love Maya, and she had such good chemistry with Amy when they did the Bronx Beat, which is one of my favorite sketches of all time. Terrific with Kristen. The two of them being such good friends. Her gorgeous singing voice.
Yes.
I mean, unreal. That one where she sings the anthem and she like sounds like crazy stuff.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
The bombs were bursting into the air.
Oh, yeah. Those would be my 90s and 2000 ladies. Maya gets a lot more credit than Rachel, but I still think she gets lost in Kristen's shadow a lot. I do think she's tremendous and a lot of fun and still doing great stuff even now.
Yeah, Maya started in 2000.
Oh, right on the nose. Okay.
Right on the nose, yeah. Let us get on to the bulk of the episode. We are going to go through the 90s and the 2000s, our favorite female musical guests. Fill up your big dumb cup, put on your big dumb hat, and let's talk about Saturday Night Live female musical guests. First is Ajax. His pick for the 90s was No Doubt for season 22, episode 8. And the host for that was Martin Short. Classic Canadian.
All right. So I was a huge No Doubt fan when they popped onto the scene. This was their third album that took off, major label release, Tragic Kingdom. Of the 14 songs on there, 7 of them became singles, which is unheard of. It's crazy. The 90s were such a fickle decade for music because you got a little bit of everything sprinkled all over the place. Of course, Nirvana kicked off the decade, changed music entirely, and then you got into the grunge phase, and then everything was kind of up in the air, and you know, alternative rock kind of took over, but within the alternative rock, you had ska, you had swing, you had post grunge, you had post punk, you had all these different genres melding. And so no doubt fit right in there with the ska insurgents. And so not all of their songs are ska. Some of them are just pop rock and some of them are just alternative. They used to be strictly a ska punk band, but with Tragic Kingdom, they made it more mainstream. And then the Queen Gwen Stefani took her role and just rolled with it. And so many great tracks. So for this performance in season 22 with Martin Short, they did Don't Speak to kick things off. A song, this was their third single off of Tragic Kingdom. So the album had actually been out for over a year at the time that they were on. So they've been playing this, and the popularity of the song just took off. And their performance, though, was just very great. I mean, the camera work and everything I thought was very nice, too, on the show itself. The angles of all the band members playing and stuff, too. You had Tony, Tom, and Adrian. And then their second performance, though, is the one that really, really got me. Because as a fan, I'd seen them twice. I was a teenager, and I would go to these shows with my friends at the Odeon in Cleveland. And so I actually got to see No Doubt twice on the Tragic Kingdom tour. And one of the songs that they loved to play was Excuse Me, Mister. And what's great about this performance is they start playing Spiderwebs. they play a 15-second intro and then they do a fake out and then they switch to Excuse Me, Mister, which is incredible. And some people liked it, like me. And a lot of people didn't like it so much because they weren't expecting it. They wanted Spiderwebs. But guess what? Excuse Me, Mister was the next single they were about to put out. So they wanted to promote that. And it's a song that they've had in their back pocket for a long time that they performed for years. And they just, I loved what they did with it. It's their ska elemental song from that album. So it was very cool.
Ska is a very underrated genre. People clown on it a lot, but when you go back down to like the specials and up here in Canada, you have the Shuffle Demons. I mean, if you've heard Get Out of My House Roach or Spadina Bus, they're not strictly ska, but they are definitely ska inspired. There's another one that's kind of ska-ish from a group, this is like so deep cut. It's a group called the Atom Smashers, and the song is Dead Cats Don't Swing.
Wow.
So I would look that up, and it's a hoot. For karaoke, this album, definitely a default selections for me when I go out. But I have done Spiderwebs and Just a Girl. Those ones I can do pretty well.
On his pick, I'm a big No Doubt fan, so those performances were really great. I did catch the little psych out, the little teaser they gave, and I did appreciate that because you kind of want to hear more and more of each song. You know what I mean? In my opinion, so that was a lot of cool stuff that they did there. But it was such a great performance. I mean, just an amazing musical guest.
When it really highlights Gwen's vocal range, this was the first time a lot of people got to see her. I mean, she had, of course, the huge music video with Just a Girl kind of like catapulted them onto the scene. But you have a general SNL audience, older audience that perhaps didn't see the video, doesn't know who No Doubt is. And I think it really showcased Gwen's vocal range too. And so they were able to get back on the show again with a later album. And then, of course, Gwen went on to a solo career and was on again later too. So I loved that this was their first time and what they were able to do with it with their third and fifth singles from Tragic Kingdom.
And with Excuse Me, Miss, there's at least a couple different sort of tone changes on the bridge where they do, it's sort of like a fast-paced kind of circusing vibe, and then it goes back to the regular song, so it's nice to have a bit of variety. Demi, thoughts?
I'm thinking of Excuse Me, Mister, and it's like I'm catapulted back freshman year of high school, wanting to go into Limited 2, but like not actually wanting to be seen in Limited 2. Who am I? They were selling Bindi stickers, Bindi little dots everywhere. And I was like, is this because of one person? And yes, it was. It was because of Gwen Stefani. It's just such a time capsule, that entire album. My sister had it, and she played it incessantly. And it's great. It's great. What a great pick.
She also had the henna tats too, you know.
Yeah, she did. She was just mixing up everything and like track pants and crop tops. And and also my first karaoke song ever was I'm Just a Girl. So No Doubt was there for all of us.
And Shari?
She still sounds great. I mean, she was on there a lot. And of course, her latest marriage has been making headlines with Blake Shelton. I find them a very unusual couple, but she seems happy. So, hey, I'm not raining on that parade. And they actually, I would never put them together musically, but they did a couple songs together and they were bangers. Like they do vocally really work well together. So she's just very versatile, the things that she can do with her voice. And as Demi said, she's a fashion icon. And she didn't let her personal life, when she was having problems in her first marriage, she didn't let it mess up her career. I think she's just a class act. I really like her. I just like the way she handles herself in the spotlight. She's just, like I said, she's very much a class act. She doesn't drag her kids into things. I think as a human being, she's very laudable because show business is very hard. And she's weathered a lot. And she still sounds great. I mean, I've heard her like I said, she was doing those songs with Blake Shelton and they were big hits. So may she continue to make hits well into her 60s and 70s because I think she's fantastic. And I hope she shows up on Saturday Night Live again. She's got the chops to be a guest anytime.
Well, they are doing a residency at the Sphere coming up this year, which is crazy that No Doubt's going to be at the Sphere. But yeah,
There was a bit of controversy during the Harajuku Girl era, because that's when the idea of cultural appropriation really just sort of was more in the mainstream. Is there anyone here who doesn't spell this word Bananas ever since that song?
That's the only way to do it, because otherwise you'll just keep going. Banana.
No. Seth has selected En Vogue from March 21st, 1992, season 17, episode 16, with songs My Love It, No You're Never Gonna Get It, No You're Never Gonna Get It, going on into Hold On, and then Free Your Mind, which is a song I can never sing in public because I'm very, very white. So, Seth, tell us about your pick.
Yeah, like you mentioned, they performed 2 songs and a teaser of Hold On, which I really enjoyed. My favorite, which they performed, was My Love and You're Never Gonna Get It. Just amazing vocals, blending such a beautifully together. I grew up a big fan, loving their harmonies and their vocal stylizations. You can't, help but get lost in their songs. And then Free Your Mind is such a power anthem, and this performance was outstanding. I loved how they took their voices and just made them just one. And I can't think of an R&B group that are as amazing as them, when they're doing live performances.
And I've been a choir person since I was old enough to sing, and really big on harmony groups like En Vogue and like the Manhattan Transfer is another favorite. The harmonies are so wonderfully tight. There would be no Destiny's Child without En Vogue. Ajax, your thought?
I love them. I mean, there was nobody like them at the time. I mean, they just broke that ceiling. They're so good. I love the first song, but Free Your Mind. I mean, that version of that song, just the powerhouse performance there, the beat changes, the tempos, the way that all of them, there's not like one that's better than the other, in my opinion. I think they're all excellent performers and their voices are amazing. So yeah, loved them.
Oh, that crunchy guitar riff throughout that is like, it just pumps me up. Demi, and yourself?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I saw En Vogue at a BET award show a couple of years ago, and they sounded amazing. Like, vocals were like butter, so smooth. Dances are on point. They were great. Absolutely great. Solid pick, Seth. Yeah, they still got it even today.
Makes me want to listen to the album again right now. Sherry?
Well, I absolutely echo everybody's sentiments. I love them. I loved all their hits back in the day. I think I was a middle schooler when maybe not quite. Maybe I was a high schooler. They, as Demi just said, they just buttery. They just have this butteriness to their tones, and their voices blend so beautifully together. It's just incredible. They're just sonorous. They're amazing. And that medley of songs, those song choices, those were almost all huge hits. I mean, I remember Free Your Mind and, of course, Never Gonna Get It. Come on. All of us girls were singing that in the hallway. So, yeah, excellent choice. I remember talking about their performance the next day because it was just that good. So, really good choice, Seth.
Especially the a cappella part into Hold On, just, magic. Alrighty. So, yes, we are all in love with En Vogue. And who can forget What a Man with Salt and Pepper?
Oh, yes.
I think it's a rule that you cannot say salt and pepper any other way if you're an SNL fan.
That's true. That's true.
Got to do the Patrick.
So, my pick here. Totally respected her as an artist, and I respected her even more after this episode. We're going to Sinead O'Connor, October 3rd, 1992, season 18, episode 2 with host Tim Robbins. And the first song was Success Has Made a Failure Out of Our Home, but what this episode is best known for is her a cappella rendition of War and the ripping up of the Pope photo. And she took so much backlash for that. But what she was protesting against, to make a stand like that, was incredibly brave. She knew what she was doing. Now, we know that Lauren doesn't necessarily like last-minute changes, and especially something like that. There is a bit of a story in David Spade's book. He was able to get one scrap of the photo. And when he came back in on the Monday, they were looking for that one piece. Had to give it back. So for at least one Sunday, he had a piece of the photo. It takes a lot of courage to stand up for what you believe in. We all know she was supposed to be on another episode, but that was when Andrew Dice Clay was hosting. But she refused to go on, which is another one where she's making a stand against something. Nora Dunn got a lot of heat for doing what she did, but sometimes you have to make a stand and do what you believe in. Ajax?
Yeah, I loved both of these performances too. So going like specifically, not taking anything away from the controversy, but the performances themselves. What was crazy about the first one that nobody ever remembers because of what happened at the second one is that she had a full orchestra behind her. But even though she had a full orchestra behind her, you just pay so much attention to her amazing voice. Her voice is just so it's understated, but it's sweet. It's got so many layers and textures to it too. Great song choice and just a great performance. But then the contrast between the full orchestra and then just her voice for the Bob Marley cover. You just have her. So just the way she since the stress on some of those notes are just incredible. I mean, an a cappella by itself on Saturday Night Live, you're performing this without any instruments behind you. I mean, it has to be so nerve-wracking, but she just nailed it. And for her to know what she was about to do while she was singing it, you would think that her nerve level would just attack her vocals, but it didn't. It made that whole performance that much better.
And back then, auto-tune was not a thing. And Seth, over to you.
Her voice is just incredible. It cuts through. You can feel her emotions when she sings. I mean, she's just so passionate, and it comes through so well. Both performances were strikingly beautiful. I can't really say anything else. I mean, it's just unbelievably heart-moving, you know.
And Shari?
She was so underappreciated. Her voice, Ajax put it very well. She had this rich, beautiful voice. And I mean, Nothing Compares to You was it might have been the number one song of that year. It was certainly in the top. She took a Prince song and made it a bigger hit than he could have made it, which is pretty amazing.
Insane.
When we think about how huge Prince was at that time. But she just elevated that song and made it into such a hit. And she put so much texture and passion into all of her songs. But that one, certainly, she just put so much power. And then she did the same thing like Seth was saying, she had all this pressure on her. And she didn't care. And as Deej said, she had major cojones. She wasn't afraid of nothing. She was a hot-fired Irish lady, and she wasn't going to let anyone tell her what to do. And I have tremendous respect. We lost her way too young. I mean, she was fairly young, but she was making music till the end. So an incredibly talented woman, and that was certainly, talking about female performances, I mean, that's one that everybody knows. I wish they knew it for more than just the controversy reasons, because she was an amazing singer and an amazing performer. Just like I said, she was so passionate.
And her look and aesthetic was uniquely her. She didn't do anything just to make a fashion statement. This is just, I'm going to shave my head. I'm just going to put on whatever. This is what I feel comfortable in. This is what's going to bring me out. And she's just totally honest. And she actually became a priest towards the end. She was first a Catholic priest, but towards the end of her life, she converted to Islam. So we're going to move on to Demi's pick. This is Tina Turner, season 22, episode 14, on February 22nd, 1997. Alec Baldwin was the host, and she did In Your Wildest Dreams and her classic shimmy dress moving Proud Mary. I love it. So Demi, what brought you to this pick?
Well, I remember she died a few years ago, and so there was a resurgence of, because Saturday night musical performances are weird because they're not available widely after the show's over, not even on YouTube. They're truly, SNL musical guest performances are truly one of the few live things that they're You have to go put serious effort into finding them after the show's over and they're taken off YouTube. Live is live. Sometimes you can't find it at all. People were posting his performance on Reddit after she passed, and I watched it again. And I was like, if we ever send anything to space, this performance, this specific SNL performance needs to be on it, because she was firing on all 10 cylinders the entire time and I think she was in her 60s at this point. She was in heels, she's stepping, she's dancing, she's nailing every musical note. Everyone knows the song, everyone wants the song, and she delivers it on 10 every moment. She's just completely on. And her backup dancers and she are in total step. Everything is perfect. And this is before SNL musical guest stages were up to the artist's interpretation, how they wanted to use the space. It was a very, band, stage, microphones, that's it. What she did in that space, everyone knew the song and everyone was blown away. It's like, I think this is one of like the top things as humanity we have accomplished, is this SNL performance of Proud Mary by Tina Turner. Yeah, I really got to talk about it, because everything about it, her hair, her lips, her singing, her smile, her legs, her pantyhose, her heels, her backup dancers, everyone is just on. Everyone's in sync, everyone's on, and it's just gorgeous.
If you have not had a chance to read I, Tina, I read that just after, for a while, I was a Nichiren Shoshu Buddhist, which is something that she was, to her end, because that's what's part of what gave her the courage to finally leave Ike. And she fought so hard just to keep the name Tina Turner. Well, granted, it was a production, something that he thought up with, but she was well established under that. Proud Mary is one of her iconic performances, especially with the slow part introduction at the beginning. And then once those horns kick in, you just cannot help being hyped up. And there's rumors that her legs were insured for like $2 million or something like that. She's looking great until Ajax.
Yeah, I mean, she was simply the best indeed. And if there's a greatest hits album that needs to be listened to at least once a year, it's simply the best, the greatest hits of Tina Turner, because that thing is just jam packed, and you don't even realize how many great songs she had until you listen to it. But yeah, that performance of Proud Mary, the second chorus, when that thing kicks in, you're just watching a spectacle. You're like, how is this woman this later in her life? How is she moving like that? How is she singing like that? How does she look like that? It's just incredible. Like, so she was just the embodiment of everything that was special about somebody who could get up there and perform the way she did at her age. It was just amazing. So yes. Fabulous.
And over to you, Seth.
My mother is a huge Tina Turner fan and got to see her live, and she would tell me stories about the concert and how wonderful of a performer she was, just a notch above everybody else. And the Saturday Night performances were just proof of that. And just a great pick, I would say.
And she died actually not too long ago, 2023. So Sherry.
Again, Tina was another one who was huge in the 80s. They had the biopic, maybe late 80s.
Angela Bassett.
Yeah, the Angela Bassett. And, Tina was an amazing, obviously, singer and dancer, but let's not forget Beyond Thunderdome. I mean, she was pretty incredible in that. And, of course, singing the song from that movie with that voice just fit that steampunk, end of the earth apocalyptic vibe. That just, her voice just matched the whole vibe, and I mean that in a very positive way. She could create pictures with her vocals, and that's exactly what she did with Beyond Thunderdome. And she could do that. She could emote and put so much feeling into her vocal performances that, like I said, they created pictures in your head. You listen to Private Dancer or What's Love Got to Do with It or Proud Mary, and you could see the song in your head. You could see the story of the song in your head because of the way that she sang it. Certainly a legend, a true legend. And yeah, she was performing till the bitter end.
Now, granted, Phil Spector is a very controversial person, as we know, for his creation of the Wall of Sound and using that for River Deep Mountain High. Brought such a richness to it. And the other one I remember is, speaking of her movie appearances, who can forget Tommy as the Acid Queen? And now we're on to Sherry with your pick. We have Lauryn Hill from December 5th, 1998, season 24, episode 8. She did Doo Wop, That Thing, and X Factor, and the host was Vince Vaughn. So, Sherry, tell us about your selection.
Okay, so Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is probably my favorite album of music, period. She was incredible with the Fugees when she did Killing You Softly. I didn't think she was going to be able to top her work with the Fugees, and then she put out Miseducation. I don't even have words. The woman has a voice, as Linda Richmond would say, like butter. She absolutely crushed with this album. This album broke so many records. She got tons of awards, like countless, Grammys, music video, everything. I believe she was Artist of the Year, New Artist. The album won for Best Album. She crushed with this. It was incredible. And the doo-wop or That Thing was just a giant hit. And so when she did it on SNL, of course, she just crushed it. And she was already pretty big at this time. I think the song was already a hit, but the audience was hyped because this woman was at the height of her powers. Unfortunately, I don't think she put out a lot of music after. She had a lot of drama in her personal life, but that, as it is, one of my favorite musical artists of all time. She was in soap opera, she was in Sister Act, but it was all about the voice. The voice and the lyrics. She could write a lyric. She's another storyteller like Tina Turner. And I was just captivated, like the whole world was captivated by her. There was nobody like her. There's never been anybody like her since. She could rap, she could sing. She was just the whole package. And she was on SNL, like I said, at the height of her powers. So everybody was very excited to see her live. And she did not disappoint.
Yeah, her album titled The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was inspired by the book The Miseducation of the Negro from 1933 by Carter G. Woodson, and The Education of Sonny Carson, which was a film and autobiographical novel. There was contributions from D'Angelo, Santana, Mary J. Blige, and another legend. Unfortunately, she had some tax issues in the 2000s, but she did reunite with the Fugees reunion tour in 2023. And yeah, That Thing is so there's almost a 70s vibe to it, I think. This is almost something that Supremes also could have done, but it's just part of what her idea on life and love is. Ajax.
So you're right. The Supremes could have done the singing part, but not the rapping part. There's so much in this song. It just stands out. Like, there's no one like Lauryn Hill. Like, she came in at a time where, the industry was just kind of begging for something like this. And then she exceeded everyone's expectations of what a song like this could sound like. That whole album, like Shari said, the album is incredible. Like, it deserves all the praise it got, but her performance too. The performance of Doo Wop, That Thing at SNL. You have a horn section, you've got backup singers, you've got a hype crew, you've got all these different people in the background, but you're honed in on Lauryn Hill and everything that she could bring to her performance. She just brought it. And then X Factor, when she came out with that, it was just a soulful and beautiful stripped back performance. So you got to see all of the aspects of what she could do. You could see the rapping, you could hear the vocals, and you just knew. You're like, oh, well, of course, this is why she's incredible and gets all this praise, because she deserves it.
Her voice is just incredible. It cuts through. You can feel her emotions when she sings. She's just so passionate, and it comes through so well. Both performances were strikingly beautiful. I can't really say anything else. It's just unbelievably heart moving,
Oh yeah, she was everywhere, and I think there are so many lists of like the greatest albums of all time, like in any genre, for like so many different lists, and Miseducation of Lauryn Hill's at the top of almost all of them. It's just regarded as such a well-rounded, perfectly executed album, that it's I remember when that song came out and like Lauryn Hill was like unstoppable. Like she was it. Lauryn Hill was the truth. Lauryn Hill was gonna bring it. Whatever needed to be brought, she was gonna bring it. Great pick. And I loved her makeup. And I still do. Even when she did her makeup for the 50th, because she performed, which is like a crazy surprise. I was like, everything about her look, the pompadour and the teal eyeshadow and the leopard fur coat, I was so happy to see all of it. So great pick. Agree. Great pick.
All right, so that includes our favorites from the 1990s. And the 1990s was definitely one of those sort of transition decades because there's still some leftover hair bands from the 80s into the 90s, and then you got grunge and your hip hop and rap coming to the forefront. So it was a very interesting transition into the 2000s. Very big pop era, because that's when you have things like the boy bands, the girl bands. We're going to start our tour around 2000 with Ajax. And his pick is The Donnas, Season 28, Episode 10, from January 18th, 2003. And the songs were Take It Off and Who Invited You, with host Ray Liotta.
It was so refreshing and just incredible to me that a band like The Donnas could get on SNL, because it's not a typical musical guest choice. And this was at a time where, okay, this was their 5th album that they were promoting, but it was their first major label album through Atlantic Records. And so they were able to get on through, probably through Atlantic and their promotions. And I thought that it was, when I first heard that they were going to be on the show, I'm like, the Donnas got on SNL? Like, is this real? So I mean, it's crazy because you mentioned how many different genres were kind of melding in the early 2000s. You also had rap metal in there. You had emo was starting to get huge. And so, but a lot of these subgenres, they would never make it on SNL. So the fact that the Donnas even got on SNL was incredible. And then they just knocked it out of the park. So these performances, Take It Off as one of the best opening guitar riffs of any song ever. It is so good. You have 4 ladies who can just rock it out on their instruments. Take It Off has this incredible performance and guitar solo. And then Who Invited You, I actually thought once the nerves kind of settled, that was their second performance. They actually did a lot better job with Who Invited You. They just crushed it. I mean, if you see this version of the song, like they just got out there and did their thing. And I think a lot of people after they were done performing were probably like, who's the Donnas? Let me go listen to this. Let me go buy their album and let's check this out. This thing is great. And so it came from their 5th album, their first studio album on a major label, and it was called Spend the Night. And that thing is just incredible. So check out Spend the Night if you haven't listened to it. But this for me, one of my favorite memories was when the Donnas appeared on Saturday Night Live.
I think Avril Lavigne was also starting around this time. So the pop punk portion of the 2000s was very prevalent then, which also brought us the Canadian group Live on Release with one of my other favorite songs, I'm Afraid of Britney Spears. I'm afraid of Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. I don't know what to think. The raw way they played very much is male identified. And it's nice to see women who are just taking this and say, hey, we can rock too. And in some cases, we can rock better than you.
Well, not only that too, but from their perspective too. I mean, they write songs from a female perspective, like a lot of bands and a lot of male-driven rock groups and artists would write from their perspective. So when you have the script reversed, I mean, it was refreshing to hear. Like, as taboo as a lot of the subject matter is, it's so good. I love it. Their 7 album catalog is incredible, but the very last album they released in 2007, Bitchin', is just incredible. And I wish that they stuck around and made more music.
Yeah, because Rolling Stone apparently stated the Donnas offer a guileless take on adolescent alienation, the trafficking kicks, not catharsis, fun rather than rage. And the band offers a good old-fashioned rock and roll party. And that is very true. On to Seth.
The Donnas, I mean, just rocking is the right word. I mean, those performances were really strong, and what a great way to spend a few minutes. I mean, rocking out with some chicks. So it was an amazing performance. Very moving and made me want to check it out.
Yeah, no, I need to definitely check it out too. I think they were aggressively fun, if that's the right way to put it, maybe, because their guitar playing was so strident and it was such a female perspective, but with male stereotypical chords, I guess, used. So it was really, I don't want to say unashamed, but it was, or not, I don't want to say in your face either, but it was just really, really honest almost. I mean, and they were really fun too. So one of those things where just their existence was a statement in and of itself, because they were all female band singing about things that they cared about, and they were really good at their instruments. They were great. I don't think I've seen that performance, so I'm definitely going to check it out, Ajax. So
I imagine the Go-Go's were probably an inspiration as well.
I remember when they were on, and yeah, like Ajax said, this was one of those performances. This is the beauty of SNL. They can take bands from out of nowhere and put them on the show, and all of a sudden people are talking about them. And that's what I think they did for the Donnas. They're not really my taste. I'm not so into the hard rockin' edge, but they were a lot of fun. And I remember how much fun their performance was, and that everybody was talking about it the next day. I do vaguely remember that. So this was a great performance. I'm glad we included a band that shows the power of SNL to bring these acts. Just recently, the Tragically Hip had their anniversary of when they appeared on SNL. Nobody knew who the Hip was here in the States, really. But SNL took this band that was huge in Canada, brought them on, just like they did the Donnas. They gave these bands a chance to rock out and prove how amazing they are. Just because you don't have a number one song doesn't mean you're not a great artist. So I think that's really speaks to the power of SNL. They're still doing it, right? They're still bringing unknown artists to the forefront. So I think that's pretty cool.
The Tragically Hip is, of course, they are very much beloved in Canada. The day Gordon Downey died, it was felt all across Canada. He was such a big influence in Canadian music. The Tragically Hip also appeared in the curling movie Men with Brooms.
Curling, Paul Gross.
The Tragically Hip appeared as one of the curling teams in the final Bonspiel.
Well, I was hoping that we would at least see Sloan or Odds or Moist, but I was at least pleased that we got the Hip from Canada. Yeah.
And we got the Bare Naked Ladies.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
There's lots of good things that came out of Canada, and I know because I'm Canadian.
Well, half of every comedy ever written was from Canadian, perspective.
Which reminds me of, there was this sort of mockumentary about the Canadian invasion of all the movie people and comedians, and one of the great lines was Lauren Green, green card, make the connection. We're on to that spec for Norah Jones, season 29, episode 14, on March 6, 2004, with What Am I, Sunrise, and What Am I to You, and the host was Colin Firth.
So Norah Jones was right up my alley. Sunrise is literally one of my favorite songs. Such a beautiful mixture of jazz and pop. It just invokes waking up late and taking things easier. And then they performed What Am I to You, which is just gorgeous vocals floating on top of great instrumentation. These songs really take me back to that time period when she was at her height. An amazing songwriter and performer. Just loved everything she did.
She just brought that smooth jazz vocal pop to the mainstream and just slayed on them. Like these two songs off her second album were fantastic. And the way she played them, her piano playing is just effortless too. And you almost were like, oh, I can do that. And then you go to the piano and you're like, no, I can't do that. She's just incredible. So yeah, great performer.
Norah Jones was everywhere in the mid 2000s. Like, and she was on so many movie soundtracks. Couldn't go anywhere without hearing.
One of those films that she actually appeared in as well was It Came Together, which features several SNL cast members, including Amy Poehler, Bill Hader, Kenan Thompson. The point of the movie is they do a stand-up of romantic comedies, and there's the usual let's go out, have fun, love montage, which ends with them in the studio with Norah Jones recording the song that they're busy frolicking to.
Her voice, and then you would see her perform, and she would play the piano like so, not carefully, but carefully and with ease. Like, she was so comfortable playing the piano and singing that you'd be like, whoa, I didn't realize she was doing both at the same time, but she had such command of her instrument and her voice and the piano. Yeah, it was just beautiful. So that's I'm glad you brought Nora Jones up.
Nora was everywhere at this time. You couldn't get away. She was everywhere. And she was another one, like Lauryn Hill, who was just racking up the awards. I'm pretty sure she got New Artist her first year on the block. And I'm happy to hear she's still doing music. I know Seth told us before we recorded that she's like got several different bands for several different styles of music, because she can do it all. She could be a pop princess if she wanted to. She's certainly known for her jazz, but she can do anything. And just with ease, as Demi said, she just has a beautiful, easy voice. She can hit all the notes. She can hit the high. She can hit the low. I mean, yeah, she is an amazing songstress. I'm very glad that Seth brought her up. She's incredible.
Another lady that she also reminds me of, if you've heard of Bazia, very much that same kind of genre. Her first album, Miles Away, from her debut album, Time and Tide. Now we're on to my pick, Beyonce, November 15th, 2008, from season 34, episode 8, with the host Paul Rudd, with a cameo by Justin Timberlake. She not only formed 2 songs, If I Was a Boy and Single Ladies, she participated in a sketch written by Bobby Moynihan. She wasn't so sure about it. Justin Timberlake went to bat for Bobby Moynihan, very beloved cast member, and still brought us one of the funniest things. The performances, especially of Single Ladies. One of the backup dancers for her at that time was Heather Morris, who went on to be in Glee, was one of her backup dancers. That song and the video and the choreography, it was inspired by a dance performance by Gwen Verdon in 1969 on the Ed Sullivan Show. That's on YouTube, so if you look that up, you can definitely see where a lot of the moves were inspired by it. An iconic piece of choreography. The choreography is deceptively looks simple, but it is definitely not simple. It's still one of my favorite songs. Very empowering. I'm going away this way. You had your chance. You could have done it, but nope, you didn't. So screw you.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one quite like her. Like, she commands your attention, and the stage presence is like nobody else. And those dancers that you brought up, I mean, they just kept in line with her the entire time. The performance is great, but if one error occurred, then you would focus on that one thing. So they have to stay in step, and they did incredible too. So the whole performance of Single Lady is just excellent. And then with the If I Were a Boy performance, you really get a showcase of her range and the notes that she can hit. And there's like no one else can sing that song. like forget about it. Like that song is like, she's so high up in a vocal range no one ever can attain. So it's so good.
She's one of those ladies that I would never attempt at karaoke. Never, ever, ever. Her and Whitney Houston. I tried it once. It was not good. Seth.
Those 2 songs were just amazing. Great pick. I just love her empowerment with each song. It's just, especially If I Were a Boy, it's so heartfelt, and her emotion is just, on the forefront of the whole performance, and it's captivating. I mean, the whole thing was captivating, and I just, that was a great pick.
Another great version of the song was for the 2009 MTV Music Awards, the same backup dancers.
Yeah, no, I mean, SNL is really great for like plucking an unknown out, but sometimes SNL is also great when they meet a white hot moment. Like, oh my God, are we actually going to get to see that on this tiny SNL stage? And Beyonce doing Single Ladies is an example of that it's just like a collision of like a white hot meteor of talent and popularity and like being well known for being amazing, and then going on stage and being amazing. It's just like, oh my God, I'm so lucky to be alive during all this time for this. So yeah, no, Beyonce has a really high bar, and she exceeds it every time. You're like, whoa, okay, I get it. I understand why she's called the queen. I understand why she has a beehive, because she's just a solid performer that can just knock it out every time. Just, you're like, I didn't know human beings could do that. Like, I mean, that's what kind of performer she is. So just a stellar pick, Deej.
Okay, I'm going to be the dissenter here. I've never been a giant Beyonce fan. She's got huge hits, many that I sing in the shower, and I cannot deny that. I'm a much bigger fan of her husband. I'm a very big Jay-Z fan. However, you got to give props where props are due, and she defined this part of the 2000s. There's no doubt Single Ladies was one of the biggest hits of the entire decade. She's a hit machine. I'm not even going to argue about it. She's a huge hit machine, and she was terrific on SNL. Live performance is hard, and she was great. And like Deej said, she brings those backup dancers. She's a performer. She gives a performance. I went and saw her because all my friends wanted to see her. And I tend to be the mom who drives everybody to the concert. So we went and saw her. And I had to say, I mean, the woman is a performer. She can dance. She can sing. She's a decent actress. So I got to give props where props are due. This was definitely an important performance. And of course, you can't talk about it without talking about that sketch and Justin Timberlake putting on a leotard and tights and doing the Single Ladies and getting Beyonce to allow them to do it, because that is an absolutely classic sketch. And it's a classic sketch that wouldn't be a classic sketch without that song, which was so anthemic. So excellent choice, Dee. Definitely she deserved to be talked about.
We are on to Lady Gaga, season 35, episode 2, October 3rd, 2009. And she did, now, was this like one big medley or two medleys?
I think Paparazzi was standalone, and then she did a medley of
Bad Romance, Love Game, and Poker Face.
Lady Gaga is the reason I started listening to pop, because I like punk usually, and I don't like mainstream music. I'm cool. But Lady Gaga was the artist that I was like, oh my God, I think I like pop. When she came out with Just Dance, I was like, okay, I really like this. And I'm actually not ashamed to say I like it. And I'm going to buy the album. And I also lived at Lady Gaga forever. So that's it. That's done. We're done. So her last performance in last season was, I mean, like I would say one of the best performances ever. But going back to this 2009 performance, man, what a year. People were still like, who is this person? Because she was so edgy and so with her costumes and her makeup and what she was doing on red carpets. It's like, oh my God, what's happening? I was like, oh, it's just Madonna reheated. And it's like, she'll fade out. And that's like, I don't think she's going to fade out, guys. Like, she's too much of a force. Like, she's too original. She's paying homage to like people that came before her, but she's got a lot of energy. She's got a lot of gas in the tank, I think. And when she did, and going back and looking at this performance where she did a lot of it in like a rotating cylinders around her, like planetary orbits that like reacted to her movements, which is first of all insane because I can't even describe it. And it responded to her body movements, and you could see her like trying to get it to go with it. And then she sat down in this insane contraption and played the piano, and she did acoustic renditions of these monster radio hits. And then she made up new lyrics for SNL, talking about getting a hot dog on 72nd Street and growing up in New York and seeing the Yankees with her dad. And her voice is beautiful and perfect. And it's like, and these pop stars are like, well, can they really sing? Are they being helped out with auto-tune? Is it all production? What's going on? And then she does an a cappella with a piano. And you're like, whoa, okay, this is talent. She has real talent. She has good bones. Like, she has solid structure in her artistry. And it was a one-time thing for SNL for that performance. That was it. And it's just one of those things. It's just again, when a huge pop star goes on SNL, when they're like, rising or at their apex or continuing to rise, and then they do something different for the crowd for SNL, it's like a 9-course tasting dinner that you're full afterwards. It's just, oh my God.
Yeah, every performance that she did on SNL was always edgy and epic, especially last year. Abracadabra and Dead Dance, when they started out in the hallway. I mean, she can dance, she can act, she can sing. If you haven't heard her duet with Tony Bennett, definitely have to give that a listen to. And she's been really doing a lot of movies, like the remake of The Star is Born, and has also been part of American Horror Story series. She's a diva in her talent, but she's not a diva in real life. Who can forget the meat dress?
I mean, she is the full package. She checks all the boxes. If you look up performer in the dictionary, you will see a picture of Lady Gaga in an incredible outfit that nobody else would ever be able to pull off. I mean, she's just incredible. Like these performances, Paparazzi, she had this outfit. She comes out with this red headdress and this shoulder piece. And then what's great is halfway through the performance, she takes off the headpiece and then just whips her hair. And then she gets into the dancing. And you're just like, who else would be able to do this? No one is the answer. And then for the medley, the intimate setting, the way that her dress, as distracting as it was for us to look at, it didn't bother her one bit, which is crazy because that would drive me nuts. But I mean, she just played beautiful piano, and then she talked to the audience like they were like even in a live setting, everybody was there with her. She said, "Hello, SNL," like you're just like, oh my gosh, this is just beautiful. So yeah, Lady Gaga is the essence of a born performer.
Yeah, I echo and sentiments. Just the piano skills, and then the costumes, the outfits are. How she was able to perform with all that, I don't know, but it just worked. So I mean, there you have it. I mean, she's just that good.
And we're on to our last selection from our lovely Sherry, Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. I don't know if she's going by misdemeanor at that time. Season 29, episode 6, November 15th, 2003. She did Pass the Dutch and Work It. Oh, love those songs. With the host, Alec Baldwin, as our resident hip-hop fan.
She's the queen. I love Missy. Missy, she defined women in hip-hop. There had been women before her, of course, but she was really a superstar. And she's a superstar producer. Like, she's behind a lot of amazing artists. Her videos are amazing. She's been awarded a lot for the work she's done in music videos. When she came on SNL, when Missy comes, she brings it. She's another one who brings like dancers with her that do like old school breakdancing. And she came out with, these are two huge hits. Nothing was huger than Work It. Work It's her biggest hit of all time. It's hilarious. It's so funny. And she's such a funny, I'm surprised she wasn't in any sketches because she has such a great sense of humor. And like her use of effects, like that elephant effect when she's obviously talking about her man's penis. Nobody does it like Missy does it. She's so tongue-in-cheek. She has a whole song about sex toys that is so incredibly funny. And she's not afraid to talk about things. She's fearless. Talk about a fearless performer. She was really living in a man's world at this time. She was rapping like the brothers were rapping. She wasn't afraid to talk about sex. She wasn't afraid to talk about what she liked and what she didn't like. And women weren't doing that. I mean, hip-hop artists like Lil' Kim and things, they were the sexy ingenues, but they weren't talking about the nitty-gritty stuff. And that's what Missy did. And that's what she continued to do. And that's what she continues to do with other artists. So when she came on the SNL stage, she blew the roof off the joint. I'm sorry, she's one of the best flow. She's right up there with Eminem, who's one of my favorites. I would say they're my two of my favorites. And I love Jay-Z too. And they're all very similar in that they have this amazing immediate flow. They're so fast, but you can still understand what they're saying. And they're so lyrically gifted, and they talk about what's going on in their lives. We all know what Pass the Dutch is about. She smokes a lot of weed. She's not shy about it. What she's not afraid to wear loose sweatpants. She doesn't need to be in little tight, sexy clothes all the time. She can do it, but she can also wear baggy clothes and Nikes, just like the guys can. And she was one of the first to really embrace that. She was the first to embrace it. So I was very excited when she came on SNL. She's one of my favorite artists. I've seen her on stage. She's incredible. And I was pretty thrilled when she showed up. And I love that she keeps up with the guys in rap music. And somebody said she just got nominated for the Hall of Fame. I still don't think she's made it in. I have issues with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame anyways. But there's going to be a Hip Hop Hall of Fame, and I promise you she will be in that. She is incredible, and this performance is one of the best hip hop performances I think SNL had. So yeah, I was delighted. I love this one.
Yeah, well, Missy Elliott and her contemporary before her, Queen Latifah, female powerhouses in the hip hop and rap community, and in particular as a plus size woman. This is me. If you don't like the way I look, then that's your issue, not mine. So she could wear like those. Was it Work It where she had like the garbage, sort of like the vinyl garbage bag suit, those all blown up?
Or super duper fly. Can't stand the rain.
Owns who she is. She owns the stage, and she's someone to have tremendous respect for. As a singer, the one thing I cannot do is sing fast. I've tried to do things like 1 week from the Bare Naked Ladies. My voice gets tangled up. Anybody who can flow that fast and have every word completely, perfectly understandable has my total admiration, worship, and respect, because that's something that and vocal runs are two things I cannot do. And then we're going over to Ajax.
Yeah, I mean, there's too few female rappers that made it big. I mean, right now you got Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Before that, you mentioned Queen Latifah. I mean, she was like the predecessor, and then you had Lil' Kim, like Shari mentioned, and then Da Brat maybe. But then there was Missy. I mean, like, it's sad that there's so few of them. I mean, she was everything that the scene needed. I mean, she just did an incredible job with these performances too. So she came out there, dressed in her Chanel jumpsuit. She just killed it. She had this excellent, energetic performance of Pass the Dutch, and then the Work It performance was just awesome too. The dance crew, you mentioned those break dancers, they were awesome. I love just watching them too. But yeah, I mean, she was the highlight. So good.
Oh, that's also inspired the...
We talk about her skills in performing, but the production, she's an amazing producer. She worked with Timbaland in his early career, and we wouldn't have solo Justin Timberlake without that. So that's Missy Elliott that trained Timbaland on how to produce, and how wonderful that is. And she's just so talented. I mean, she is who she is, and she is just so fierce and good, and lovely performances.
Yeah, no, I actually remember watching this episode live at work. We were working night shift, so we would always have SNL because we worked every other weekend. Work, it was everywhere. We were like salivating, waiting for this performance. Like, oh my God, Missy Elliott. And then she came on, and it was all great. And it's funny that you say Work It was her biggest song, because I actually saw a live stream of Coachella a couple years ago, and she was one of the performers. I think she was next to the headliner, second to last. And you can't find it. I tried to send it to my sister. You can't find it. But she did all of her hits. She danced the entire time. She was amazing. Like, I was in shock over how good she sounded, how on point she was. And when I told my sister about it, because I didn't know she loves Missy Elliott, she's like, oh my God, did you do Hot Boys? Like, that's her favorite song. Like, to her, that's her biggest song. I think Work It, it's a huge song, because she actually is also rapping backwards, literally backwards. Take that thing down, flip it and reverse it. And then she sings it. And I forget what was the biggest one for me, because I don't think it was either of those. It might have been Work It. No, but it's something else. I can't remember it now. But that's how big she is. Like, oh, that's her. My song was the biggest song. My sister's like, no, Hot Boys is the biggest song. So that's when you have a powerhouse. I did not know she was doing so much producing. I did not know that she was the one that helped out Timbaland. I thought it was maybe the other way around, but I'm glad you're bringing that up. She can still perform all that. Everything she had, she still has it for sure.
That one line, I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it, has become so iconic. Look at the lyrics on here. I have no idea how she would pronounce this.
Go ahead, give it a shot. Let's hear it.
Give it a shot, Deej.
T.S. River, Dina, T. Pliff, Nawad, Gedit, Yum, Tup.
Better than I could do.
Hell yeah.
That concludes the 2000s. And that pretty much concludes our episode. Ajax and Seth, I want to thank you again. Demi, thank you very much for inviting these guys over. Welcome anytime. We will be reciprocating the pleasure. We will be reciprocating by appearing on their wonderful podcast, Cover Wars. And sorry, what's the name of the other podcast that you do?
Seth's on another one.
I'm also on Movies at Grandma's House, where we review kids' movies from the past and present to see if they still hold up today. But thank you so much for having us on, and it's such an honor to be with you guys and meeting you, and this has been a lot of fun.
There's so many people you want to be able to share your love of something with. I love hearing you guys talk about music, because that's something I don't get a lot of chance to do either. So I've had such a great time. Sherry, Demi, any thoughts before we wrap her all up?
Really quickly, I am wearing my How Great is Jane t-shirt. Nobody can see it, obviously, who's listening, but I have to shout out the guys at the Not Ready for Primetime Project, Brad and Gary. They awarded me this shirt. I wrote an email and I gave them a 5-star review. How great is Jane? That's what they say on their podcast. And here on Saturday Night Ladies, we are, of course, huge Jane Curtin fans. So thank you, guys. I love the t-shirt. Please look us up on Blue Sky. We are out there. We are up to 14. My goal is 20. If we make it to 20, I'll get us an Instagram account. So find us on Blue Skies. SN Ladies at Blue Sky, whatever it is. I'm terrible with social media, but I'm the social media person for our podcast. I think it's hilarious, but I'm having a good time. We have a Gmail account. Look us up. We're getting out there. Tell your friends. We're looking for female guests. I've got a couple lined up for our next 2 music episodes for the 70s and 80s, and then the 2010s and the 2025s. I've got some ladies coming on, so they are coming. But if you know other ladies, we'd love to have them. Of course, we still love our guys. We're so thrilled Ajax and Seth came on today. And, like Deej says, we're providing a space here for everybody to talk about SNL. And I just think that's amazing. And I have to give one final shout to Deej, because this wouldn't all be happening if it wasn't for all the work she puts in, hours and hours and hours of work. And I am incredibly grateful. So I just wanted to end with that. And Happy New Year, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year. Yeah, no, thanks for having me again. Thanks for having me on as co-host, Seth and Ajax. Really appreciate your perspectives. I really love hearing people talk about female artists, specifically from a male perspective, and what they like about it. And it's just really refreshing to hear. Same thing with Casey when he was talking about Nikki Glaser. He had a really depth of knowledge on her, and that was super fun. And Shari, as always, thank you for putting out the word and keeping this going and getting everything ready for showtime. And Deej, again, thank you for giving us this space to talk about these really cool things that everyone should hear about.
And just another bit of self-promotion for the world of Wacky Notion Productions. My first podcast, which has celebrated its first year, bi-weekly episodes. We heart hater, as we always say here. Although life may seem bleak, you gotta go out and find the funny.
Funny is hope.
Saturday Night Ladies is a presentation of Wacky Notion Productions. Hosted by Deej Behrens, Shari Fesco, and Debbie Constantine. Recorded and edited by Deej Behrens. Off-week show research by Shari Fesco. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, just email SaturdayNightLadies1978@gmail.com. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.